I will say that Bernie Sanders gave a
You guys are crazy!
You're an animal. Get a job.
Regards to, but I think it's important, Mr. Chair, just like in DC, home rule was won out of Black freedom struggle in the fight for civil rights. We can't be passive right now. So nobody over there should take anything we say like so personally as if we're attacking them. No, we're attacking a process, we're not attacking people here. And I think it's really important. We need to stand up against this fascist takeover. That's not a bad word. It's a fact. And here in DC and across the country, it is so incredibly important, Mr. Chair, that this committee does not allow rhetoric that defames and or paints Washington, D.C. in a way that you all haven't really truly seen. You're just reading it. No, you're just reading it or something off of some.
Will the gentlelady yield to a question?
Yeah, I think it's really important.
Will the gentlelady yield?
No, I don't yield. I don't even have time. I can tell you.
Your time's expired.
It is expired, but Mr. Chair, but you all live here, and you're not telling people the beautiful parts that you do see in our nation's capital. And no, it's just wrong how we're doing it.
Chairman, I think it's insane that the gentlelady doesn't have an argument, but she's going to refer to me and some of my colleagues.
Mr. Donalds.
We were from the Third Reich. This is insane.
You're going to look at 14, 15-year-olds as a bunch of criminals?
It's insane.
Oh,
do I look like a member of the Third Reich to you, Ms. Tlaib? Is that what I look like to you?
You're the one taking your voting
Is that what you think? Is that what you think? Is that what you think?
No, that's unethical.
I think it's radical.
You're not going to believe what just happened on the House floor. Rashida Tlaib completely lost control and had to be forcefully removed after confronting Byron Donalds in one of the most explosive showdowns we've seen this year. This is Right Focus, where we expose the truth the mainstream media refuses to cover. Before we dive in, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss when the left unravels right before your eyes.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Ms. Tlaib from Michigan.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I think it's really important. I mean, we're talking about, 700,000 people that live here, and I feel like their voice gets completely just dismissed. And so, if I may, Mr. Chair, ask unanimous consent to enter the record the Washington Post poll of D.C. residents found 8 out of 8 in 10 opposed Trump's taking over of their local police and sending in federal troops.
Without objections ordered.
I think it's also really important to understand, like, the incredible kind of slanderous, like, defamation. I don't know what to call it. They're just burying Washington, D.C. You just heard them speak about our nation's capital in that way, in a way that I feel very much like that's not what I see. I see people walking around with their families, people enjoying time to see these beautiful, incredible, beautiful monuments and everything. And there's a pride here, too. And so I just want to bring the D.C. residents into this committee, because I feel like they are being made invisible. And this really ugly picture that is not reflective. And I'm from Detroit. I've seen it happen to my city. And it's despicable in a way that I feel like really goes up against our values. One of the things that I know in every abuse of power that, we let President Trump and the administration get away with in D.C., it will be replicated. It will be expanded across the country, and it is going to tear apart our communities. Mr. Jackson, I talked to you about a little bit about this, but I think it's important to understand that we do have a mental health crisis, that we have a housing crisis, affordability crisis. Can you police any of those away?
No.
You can't police away homelessness. And the way they talk about our homeless neighbors is so, no wonder there's violence increasing towards homeless neighbors. I see it already, the brutality of it. When we see housing costs go up, when we see, again, the lack or dismissiveness of the mental health crisis that we continue to grow in. And it's not just this administration, and the previous administrations as well. No one has moved with the urgency that is needed. Just last week, the committee approved over a dozen bills regarding Washington, D.C. And, I'm just curious. Criminalize children. My colleague from Boston talked about this. It basically interfered with legislation already passed by the local government. Was anyone on this panel consulted? Any of you? Raise your hand if you were consulted on any of these bills. Yeah.
We were not.
You know, one of the things that, AG, I've been listening to you. You know, one of the bills actually eliminates your position completely. What effect would that have? I mean, completely eliminating your position in regards to be able to do the job that you do to protecting all the families in Washington, D.C.
We'll start with the fact that more than 70% of the residents of the District of Columbia overwhelmingly voted for having an independent elected attorney general.
That's right.
And that's a recognition of the fact that when an attorney general is directly accountable to the people, directly responsive to the people, we are much better at doing our job in terms of addressing housing affordability and conditions in slumlords, seniors and consumers who are being scammed, addressing the issues that are most important to D.C. residents, because I am accountable to them.
I read wage theft is an issue, workplace discrimination. I mean, there's a number of issues that need to be addressed, and they're not going to address that. They want to paint you all as this ugly, dark, all just out in the street. I mean, the way it's just unbelievable because they all live here. I don't see it. I don't see what they see. I don't understand why we're allowing that to happen, because I actually think it's going to hurt our communities. People are going to look at Washington, D.C. folks in a way that I think is going to be very painful, but also, you know, I don't know, Mr. Jackson, I heard the stories. People didn't leave their homes. They weren't leaving their homes. Businesses didn't see people coming into, I mean, that's what we want in our nation's capital. Stay in your house. Don't move. Don't go anywhere. Stay fearful. It's unbelievable that my colleagues continue again to eject this narrative and this rhetoric in regards to it. But I think it's important, Mr. Chair, just like in D.C., Home Rule was one out of Black freedom struggle in the fight for civil rights, we can't be passive right now. So nobody over there should take anything we say like so personally as if we're attacking them. No, we're attacking a process. We're not attacking people here. And I think it's really important. We need to stand up against this fascist takeover. That's not a bad word. It's a fact. And here in D.C. and across the country, it is so incredibly important, Mr. Chair, that this committee does not allow rhetoric that defames and or paints Washington, D.C. in a way that you all haven't really truly seen. You're just reading it. No, you're just reading it or something off of some.
Will the gentlelady yield to a question?
Yeah, I think it's really important.
Will the gentlelady yield?
No, I don't yield. I don't even have time. I can tell you.
Your time's expired.
It is expired, but Mr. Chair,
nice.
but you all live here, and you're not telling people the beautiful parts that you do see in our nation's capital. And no, it's just wrong how we're doing it.
Chairman, I think it's insane that the gentlelady doesn't have an argument, but she's going to refer to me and some of my colleagues.
Mr. Donalds.
We were from the Third Reich. This is insane.
You're going to look at 14, 15-year-olds as a bunch of criminals?
It's insane.
Oh.
Do I look like a member of the Third Reich to you, Ms. Tlaib? Is that what I look like to you?
You're the one taking your voting card.
Is that what you think? Is that what you think? Is that what you think?
No, that's unethical.
I think it's radical and I think it's insane. And I'll respect everything that you say. But to say something like that to myself and all of my colleagues is way out of line. It's way out of line. It's way out of line.
Regular order, Mr.
Way out of line.
Regular order.
That's okay. But it's okay, right?
That is not how it goes.
It's okay, right?
You hold yourself accouable before you talk about
Hold myself accountable. Hold your own self accountable. How about that? Hold your own self accountable. How about that?
Free DC and make sure you vote with your own voting card. Don't be giving it to somebody else.
Tlaib. All right, time. Chair recognizes Ms. Boebert from Colorado. Wait a minute, Ms. Boebert. All right.
What we just witnessed wasn't debate, it was a meltdown. Rashida Tlaib went off the rails, shouting over colleagues, refusing to yield, and throwing around wild accusations about fascism and oppression, all while painting this delusional picture of Washington, D.C. as some utopia. And when Byron Donalds calmly stepped in to call her out, Tlaib exploded. She went from defiant to desperate, yelling and losing control of the floor until security had to intervene. It was chaos. Now let's be honest, this wasn't about policy, this was about performance. Tlaib and the squad thrive on outrage. They're not there to discuss solutions. They're there to create viral moments that make them look like victims. But this time, it backfired. Byron Donalds showed real composure. He didn't take the bait, he didn't raise his voice. He simply told her the truth, hold yourself accountable before lecturing anyone else. And that's when it all fell apart for her. You could see the contrast clearly. On one side, a Republican who stood firm on principle. On the other, a radical leftist losing her cool, trying to weaponize emotion when reason failed. This is what happens when the left is confronted with facts. They resort to chaos, deflection, and character attacks. What's worse is that they call it speaking truth to power while screaming down anyone who disagrees. That's not democracy, that's disorder. And it's exactly what's destroying the credibility of Congress. Americans are tired of this circus. We're tired of watching elected officials act like activists instead of leaders. Byron Donalds didn't just win that exchange, he exposed what's really happening in Washington. The squad is losing control of the narrative, and the more they lash out, the more Americans wake up to how unstable their agenda really is. This is exactly why channels like Right Focus exist. Because you won't see this truth on CNN or MSNBC. They'll twist the clip, crop the context, and make Rashida Tlaib look like the victim. But the footage speaks for itself. The meltdown, the confrontation, and the removal, it's all on record. So if you believe in accountability, in real leadership, and in standing up to this radical behavior, make sure you share this video everywhere. Let's keep the focus where it belongs, on restoring sanity, integrity, and respect in Congress. This is Right Focus, where we don't just report the news, we expose the truth behind it. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let's keep pushing back against the chaos.